electricity. Everybody wants it, but the truth is that it costs money to produce electricity, right? And if you do not have cost-effective tariff, it's very difficult for the operators in the sector to make more capex investments, to boost power generation and distribution, and improve the value chain. So I think there needs to be a sort of review of the MITO 2.0 tariff because the tariff structure that we have at the moment, precludes macroeconomic stability. It's assumed a particular exchange rate, inflation rates, and a number of economic variables. Most of those variables are now overshooting the set benchmark in MITO 2.0 tariff. So I think right now, once we have a new NERC chairman, the agenda will be quite straightforward for there to be a formal transmission to them, right? Practical transmission to them, not paper transmission. And there needs to be a review of the tariff structure as well to encourage GENCOs to make more investments, to ensure that DISCOs have enough funding, to service the value chain. And beyond that, I think there still needs to be something needs to be done about consumer protection as well, because a number of consumers, they've been making complaints regarding metering, estimated billing. So there needs to be improvements in consumer protection, making people aware of their rights under this market structure. That look, if you think that estimated billing, your estimated bill is not reflective of your consumption, these are the channels where you can make your complaints and get them rectified. So more things need to be done regarding that.
Now there is a worrying report recently that the transmission companies are allegedly asking the GENCOs to cut down on their energy production. And of course, even the DISCOs who are saying they are not getting enough in supply are even rejecting the power from the GENCO. So what does that tell of the regulation there?
Well, that's quite surprising because if you look at the past 1 year, we've not really had optimum generation due to the gas shortages we are seeing in Nigeria Delta. So it's sort of very strange for me, to realize that even at the low level of generation, DISCOs are still rejecting load. But
now, in fact, the report says that the TCN's explanation is that high system frequency necessitating corrective measures, coupled with a refusal of DISCOs to take more load, compelled it to direct GENCOs to reduce generation.
I will see this as a problem emanating from two sectors of the value chain, both from the TCN and from the DISCOs. Many people have alluded to the fact that the TCN is still a major drawback to the progress of the sector, and there needs to be much more investment in that value chain to ensure that they have the right capacity, enough willing capacity to transmit power that is being generated. At the moment, I think last month or 2 months back, when we had our power sector agenda, we had the chairman of TCN in Lagos come to give a lecture, and he did tell us then that the capacity of the sector, the willing capacity of TCN, has improved from 4,500 megawatts to 6,500 megawatts a day. But a lot still needs to be done because generation capacity in Nigeria is above 10,000 megawatts. And the second sector of the value chain that's probably responsible for this is on the DISCO's hand. Before the BPE assets were sold to the distribution companies, they had a performance contract that was signed between NERC and these DISCOs that you are mandated to reduce the aggregate technical, commercial, and collection losses at your different DISCOs by a particular percentage. So I guess NERC would probably need to pressure these DISCOs, right, to get enough funding and reduce this level of losses so that we can have a fully functional and efficient market. But the DISCOs would argue that where would the funding come from? Because today they are receiving.
No, but remember the 701 billion the federal government gave to that was actually for GENCOs, but the value chain, of course, will definitely get down to the DISCOs.
Well, the intervention fund you are referring to is sort of like a payments guarantee, right? That will be between the federal government and the Central Bank of Nigeria acting, on their mandates, and the generation companies. And it won't be retrospective. So for the past obligations that are due to the DISCOs and GENCOs, the 700 billion will not cover that. It will be going forward and going forward basis that for the future generation by the GENCOs, payments will be guaranteed by that liquidity pool that will be at the Central Bank of Nigeria. So but to have a sustainable solution to the sector's problem, right, we need to get pricing right, we need to get metering right, and ensure that with or without government support, the sector can actually function efficiently.
Okay.
That's what we should be aiming for.
Now, we have heard the finance minister say that the World Bank has agreed, and of course, I
was very happy to hear that.
So, with all of these problems, how would World Bank agreeing to assist, and yet we have not got our acts right? What do we achieve with that?
I would say that we are even discussing these issues today is a good thing. I think the most difficult step in the power sector, development is probably liberalizing the market itself and allowing private investors to take over the assets. That has been done. Moving to term was meant to be the second stage of the development process. That is not being done efficiently as of now. But I would say that with the right focus, with support coming from the World Bank, and I think for the GENCOs and the new investors as well, they have taken lessons from the experiences of the BPE assets and putting in place so many structures to avoid the liquidity problem. That includes the put-call option arrangements, going for mega guarantees from the World Bank and several other structures. So there are still hopes for the sector, I would say.
All right, just a quick one. Some people are advocating for an overhaul of the TSN. Do you think by doing that, that would actually bring up the needed change we are looking for in the power sector?
Yes, we very much do that. Don't forget, I mentioned initially that the TC and the transmission stage of the value chain still remains a major bottleneck in development of the sector. So if we can have enough investments, either by the government, I would say, or preferably the private sector, it would be a good thing for the CCN.
All right. Thank you, Omotola. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Omotola Abimbola, investment analyst with Afri Invest. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll look at issues on the microfinance bank. Just stay with us.